It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight: mushrooming filling stations in residential areas worry members of the public. Physiotherapists cry for recruitment. The Treasury warns public institutions against undertaking huge projects. In international news, Ethiopian Prime Minister pledges victory in video from frontline. And in sports news, Red Arrows striker Grace Dangote Chanda bags brace at awards dinner.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Traders in Lusaka's Kawata constituency at Jack Compound Market in Kamulanga Ward 9 say the market that has been constructed has inadequate space, hence resulting to trading at the roundabout outside the market. In an interview with Camnet News, the traders add that the location for the market is not convenient for business. Meanwhile, Kamulanga Ward 9 Councillor Jackson Sikuyuba has disclosed that next year the government will construct a decent modern market that will accommodate more than 1,000 traders. We have more in the following report.
Zambia, with a population of about 18 million people, is mostly dominated by informal workers who are breadwinners in their households and have a lot of dependents. In most cases, the income they make in their businesses is supposed to sustain them with food and help cater for other expenses such as water bills. That said, traders at Jack Market in Kamulanga Ward 9 of Lusaka say the marketplace constructed for them to trade from has inadequate space, hence them resorting to trading at the roundabout.
Tinajaira pamene pano paranda about tipata kuti market kulibe market inankhala mukati mwa market monga kapena ni chani market mafunika pa open pa kuti namupulisa bonse bantu bachita chani bakuonani maya market muntanga chapita bali muloti ndiye bakulisa ipeze kati muri kuchani muri mukati mu market kulibe South Africa kulibe na road yongenera mu market maya bantu azazi bapanda tikuli market.
And the market chairperson has given out some of the challenges that lead the traders not operating from the shelters. Meanwhile, Kamulanga Ward 9 Councillor says come 2022, government will construct a decent modern market that will accommodate more than 1,000 traders at Jack Market.
Those people to trading inside roundabout. So far to that effect, we lost about 3 lives there because of their total negligence and the lack of focus. Okay, so if you say that there isn't enough space there inside the old market, I'll dispute that. Okay, under new Don government, we are going to use that same old market and construct a modern market. Okay, say three-store building. Everyone will be accommodated and there will be enough space. Okay. So space is there. There's enough space there, my dear. I've surveyed, I've seen, and thank God that His Excellency Hakainde Chilema has increased the CDF to 25.7.
Blessings Shakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Some Lusaka residents have expressed concern over the mushrooming number of filling stations in residential areas. Speaking to Camnet News, the residents have complained that the filling stations are a threat to their health in case of an accident. They say they have since called on the government to audit all the licenses that have been issued by the Energy Regulation Board to different investors in the fuel business. And ERB Acting Public Relations Manager Musonda Chibolu says approvals for the locations of all filling stations being constructed in Lusaka was granted prior to the board's decision to suspend the issuances of new licenses for a period of 6 months from the 6th of May 2021. We have more in the following report.
Lusaka district had in the year 2021 witnessed a high number of loaming filling stations, a development that prompted several stakeholders to raise concerns. The various concerns raised forced the board of the Energy Regulation Board on 6th May 2021 to resolve to suspend the issuance of construction permit for new filling stations in Lusaka for a period of 6 months. While the suspension period is still in effect, new filling stations have continued to be built and some residents of Lusaka are now concerned and have wondered why petrol pumps, which should be located a minimum of 30 meters from any residential buildings, have continued to be built in residential areas.
Filling stations ya paka maningi, pafupi na manyumba y'abantu, pafupi na maareas ya pamene pasebenzera abantu. Andi kuchiona kwanga, naona monga siri bwino ma filling stations bafunika chabe bazia faka at least kuja kwa kuti skuli close na ma working place y'abantu na kwamene kuli manyumba y'abantu. So I government yabwerapo at least ioneko kuti ma filling stations bayafende zako yasankale pafupi na abantu, because in case of anything ngati chapya chija chintu nishi bantu ambiri mungaruze ma life y'abantu maningi.
Kudala sitezona ma filling station nkhala pafupi na manyumba y'abantu, but apa manje tidabwa kuti ma filling station yankhala pafupi na manyumba y'abantu. So manje tichitira umwe w'abantu kuti bantu bangaononge ngati filling station yapya, because timamvera kuti ma filling station yapya sometimes vija ngati kwa accident yapya manje bantu ngati bantu bapya baje tizapasa problem ndani, tipasa problem government.
For this filling station in Lusaka's Libala South, this is a road in which trucks ferrying fuel have to pass before offloading. University of Zambia School of Engineering Professor Thomas Sinkala says the mushrooming number of filling stations is not good for competition as they destroy each other's businesses. He, however, says an audit is necessary to establish how permits were given and who conducted inspections in some residential areas where filling stations have been mounted. But when contacted for a comment, Energy Regulation Board Acting Public Relations Officer Musonda Chilubi says approval for the location of all filling stations being constructed in Lusaka was guaranteed prior to the board's decision to suspend the issuance of new licenses. While development is good for every country, the question which should then bank for answers is how safe are the residents living near the filling stations. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Timber and Grass Cooperative Society operating in Lusaka's Buseko market has bemoaned alleged manipulation of their land by Patriotic Front cadres from the market during the previous regime. In an interview, Cooperative Secretary General Mr. KB Kazungu alleges that the cooperative was at loggerheads with the said cadres who, working with officials from the Ministry of Lands, handed them new title deeds with reduced hectareage of land. The cooperative has appealed to the Ministry of Lands under the new administration to ensure that their title deeds are returned to their original form, stating that some of the property owned by the cooperative, such as toilets, indicate that these are not on their land due to manipulation. Here's a report.
This is land belonging to the Timber and Grass Cooperative Society, which is located in Lusaka's Buseko market. It is one of the places in Lusaka well known for its growing business of timber and grass. However, this land, like many other pieces of land, were filled with wrangles during the previous regime, as the cooperative alleges that the title deeds were manipulated by political party cadres.
Sisi wavina chitika kungani ama papers. Kwenye kubwela kuleta ma different diagrams over the same place. Hapa balangiza tikapela hapa kuja walangiza tija kuja kumbuyo kuja kuli toilet ya cooperative but wakamba tija shani ija place ili kuja toilet tija siri mulandi ya cooperative but pa diagram yo natipasa title deed ndaba land is on title diagram ya mene wanatipasa title deed ilangiza ti ma boundaries uku kuri watentani kuwa nagula kani wa trade kings kani wandani kuja kusaidi ni kukansu then kuja sitipasa na malile na 167 yama siege plot but it's like baja banyamata wenze using ama leaders ba MPF nambo kushita funa kushita manipulate land kuti banakashita squeeze mukala kanono.
The cooperative has called on the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources as well as the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to find out what is happening in markets, stating that many things are in disorder.
Chetufuna nchakuti ibwera makudala mwenzeri ijatai kunani diagram ya mwana tipasa pa first tufuna land choke so chabe mwenzeri kudala exact ndapenzebe ma problems pa first ma problems arabwera after pa PF bangenapo. That's what Ministry of Land to study survey ngani compensation. But Ministry of Land they just have to compensate at Pamuzna Vacanso because they can't give us 2 acres and then they change their stance to say it's just an acre. That one is unacceptable. We can't accept that one.
Mr. Kazungu says it is the duty of the new administration to ensure that all things are returned to normalcy and that those who are disadvantaged have their property restored. Recently, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, working with the Ministry of Technology and Science, constituted a team of technocrats to look into land illegalities in Zambia within a period of 10 days. The time frame elapsed on 25th November 2021, and the nation awaits to hear the findings. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Leadership Movement Party President Dr. Richard Silumbe says achieving a better Zambia requires the participation of everyone. The opposition leader says in order to foster national development, citizens need to have the right mindset and determination to excel in various ways. He says education is a fuel required for one to progress, thus urging young people never to forego education for anything. Patrick Soko reports.
President of the opposition leadership movement, Dr. Richard Silumbe, who participated in the just-ended August 12 general election, has been consistent with his message themed around the Zambian-led development agenda, job creation, youth and women empowerment, and poverty alleviation. Dr. Silumbe says in order to foster development in the country, all Zambians need to effectively participate.
Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. The Zambia we want to see, the Zambia we visualize, the great Zambia, can only be achieved with everybody's participation. All of us have something to contribute, male and female, young and old, rich and poor. We all have something to contribute in bringing about a great Zambia. Therefore, you have worth.
Speaking when he officiated at the Crescent Crane Academy graduation, Dr. Silumbe says citizens need to be determined in order to see a better Zambia. He implored young people to be focused in pursuing education, which he said is a catalyst in their personal growth and overall national progress.
This graduation you have today is not a full stop in your educational journey, but rather a comma that punctuates your educational journey to another loft endeavor. Therefore, I urge you to stay in school. Don't drop out of school. Whatever vocation you choose to enter, education will be your fuel. Just like fuel in a car, the more fuel you have, the further you go in life. Education is the fuel, my friends. Don't run out of fuel in your life.
The opposition leader has since tipped citizens that there is room to succeed in whatever field, provided one has the right attitude.
You can be a pine on the top of a hill, be a shrub in the valley, but be the best tree to shrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whoever you are.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Zambia Society of Physiotherapy President Martha Banda has revealed that unemployment remains a huge challenge among qualified physiotherapists in the country. Speaking at the ongoing 2021 Scientific Symposium, an annual general meeting for the Zambia Society of Physiotherapy in Chipata, Eastern Province, Dr. Banda laments that since the year 2016, government has not been employing physiotherapists. She has since called on government to consider the deployment of physiotherapists at all levels of health care. Meanwhile, the Health Professions Council of Zambia Chief Executive Officer Wembia Walia has called on gymnasia, gyms and spas to ensure that only trained professionals provide services related to health care in the named facilities. We have more in this report.
Fitness centers, commonly known as gyms and spas, are a thriving business in Zambia, but behind the business is the health aspect of the clients that frequent these places. In a normal setup, these places are supposed to be manned by trained physiotherapists, but this is not the case for many. Gyms and spas play a critical role in the enhancement of health populations, hence physiotherapy cannot be ignored in the achievement of a productive nation and the Vision 2030, which envisions access to quality health care for all Zambians. With that said, Zambia Society for Physiotherapy President Martha Banda reveals that unemployment remains a huge challenge among qualified physiotherapists in the country, calling on the Minister of Health to take a step in the deployment of physiotherapy human resource in all health facilities.
Since 2016, it sounds like not possible, but it is possible to happen. Since 2016, our graduates haven't been employed. These are young people coming out very enthusiastic with qualifications to save this country. They are home. The second point is limited senior positions for physiotherapists in the hospitals and almost none in the community. We are asking to strengthen these recognitions and ensure that all hospitals, all health care service delivery points have physiotherapists.
And speaking at the ongoing 2021 Scientific Symposium and annual general meeting for the Zambia Society for Physiotherapy in Chipata, Eastern Province, the Health Professions Council of Zambia says there is need to regulate businesses and professional conducts in the running of these facilities. HPCZ Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Wembia Walia says progress has since been made with regards to pushing the agenda of regulating gyms and spas.
So far, you've all demonstrated yourselves to be in hospitals, and that's not good enough. Let me say that as a council, we have seen the need of rolling out physiotherapy in areas in the past that have not been seen as needing that profession. And what we've done as a council is to write a concept note to the Ministry of Health, and I'm glad to say that this is receiving adequate attention at the Ministry of Health, where we indicated that there is need for spas, gyms and massage parlors to be regulated.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Inter-Africa Governance Network has welcomed the move taken by the Zambia Airways Board to have the national airline take to the sky on the 1st of December 2021. In an interview with Camnet News, Afrinet Executive Director Maurice Malambo says the country has made substantial investment in the construction of airports and should have an airline to fly the country's flag. He says the partnership in which the Zambia airline will own 40% of the shares and Ethiopian Airlines 60% is commendable, as only 40% of the total budget will have to come from government coffers. He says Ethiopian Airlines is a good partner with vast experience in the aviation industry.
It would folly of us to have an aviation where it is exclusively participatory to the foreign airlines and not have something of our own. Why should we fear to take off when you have private airlines such as Mahogany and others surviving in the sector? We cannot have infrastructure such as new airports at Lusaka International Airport, the Ndola one, and also the Livingstone one of international standards. But we do not have a flag carrier. So it's high time we had one.
Finance Minister Tumbeko Msokotwane has sounded a strong message to all parastatal companies not to engage in huge projects that will cause financial losses to the government. Speaking at Industrial Development Corporation annual conference held in Livingstone, the minister says that there will be no financial guarantees of any sort for any projects embarked on. Dr. Msokotwane says he expects banks or lenders to appraise the parastatal projects on their own merits and lend on that basis. And Parliamentary Committee on State-Owned Enterprises Chairperson Brian Kambita says the Auditor General's report for 2019 has indicated a misuse of resources of parastatal bodies, which he says should not continue. More in the following report.
Wow, there are over 30 parastatal companies under the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC. It was in the year 2019 established that only 8 companies were declaring dividends, while over 22 parastatal companies were suspected to be loss-making. The development is worrisome in a land-linked country like Zambia, where businesses have the potential to excel, yet companies are failing to make profit. Minister of Finance Tumbeko Msokotwane has since sent a strong message to all parastatal companies not to engage in huge projects that will cause financial losses to the government, as there will be no financial guarantees of any sort to any project embarked on by parastatal bodies.
In particular, government wishes to send strong warning about investment decisions on massive projects that may not have been properly appraised and cause losses in future. There will be no financial guarantees of any sort. Projects that are embarked upon must stand on their own. Convince the bankers that you have a good project. Let them not run to the treasury and say that this project provides a guarantee. It will not be there.
The minister, who was speaking at the Industrial Development Corporation annual conference held in Livingstone Saturday, has also called for the revamping of the Kasaba Bay to make it a preferred resort for conferences in the southern region.
So your job, once again, together with the relevant bodies, to market Kasaba Bay. The plan or the plan, the vision is to make Kasaba Bay the first choice for any Pan-African conference.
And IDC Board Chairperson Father Leonard Chiti took time to highlight some of the projects that the corporation has embarked on.
In the energy sector, we are now focused on an alternative off-taker for renewable energy to complement and supplement the burden that was until now left to ZESCO. In this regard, we have embarked on malt fruit processing project in northwestern and eastern provinces, which are being established on the basis of expected future output from farmers in these regions and beyond. We have commenced the construction of a tomato processing factory in Chisamba with expectation of similar benefits as earlier alluded.
The Parastatal Committee on State-Owned Enterprise Chairperson Brian Kambita raised concerns over the irregularities contained in the 2019 Auditor General's report currently being examined by the committee.
Ensuring that these assets create value for society and are managed professionally and transparently is a cornerstone of sound public governance and the precondition for creating trust in government and markets.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe says the new administration will work towards supporting the Zambia Law Development Commission and other related entities in order to strengthen the legal framework in Zambia. Speaking during a handover of the exit report by the immediate past members of the Zambia Law Development Commission, the Minister of Justice has commended the Commission for its hard work, which he says can be seen by the doubling of its allocation in the 2022 national budget. He has urged the new leaders that will be appointed at the Commission to emulate the same spirit as their predecessors.
Let me acknowledge, having heard the challenges the Commission is facing, I have carefully taken note of the challenges the Commission has faced during your tenure. Therefore, it is my undertaking that the Ministry of Justice will do everything possible within the available means and resources to put in place measures to resolve or mitigate the difficulties being faced by the Commission. Mitigating the challenges will enable the Commission to focus efforts on implementing its primary mandate and to positively contribute to the new dawn's developmental agenda. My lady, I note in particular your sentiments regarding the Penal Code and the CPC, and it is our promise, and I'm looking at the Permanent Secretary when I say this, to ensure that your legacy is fulfilled. We want to include this as part of the first pieces of legislation to be looked at in the next legislative session of Parliament, so that we honor you and your commission.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Rusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Rusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Spirit of infirmity never had a legal right in here anymore because she was healed in her soul. He also took care of that accusation in the court where he said, I loose you, and that means to acquit someone of a crime.
Why does he say, be strong and be courageous, Bamutale? Number one, you've got to be strong. You've got to be courageous when claiming the things that belong to you.
If you're up against principalities and powers, en contra de principados, and Satan is knocking you around, y el enemigo te está dando contra ti, put praise on in your car. Pon alabanza. Put praise on.
So we must learn to depend on the Holy Spirit to tell us what these things are and what's the next thing and what the church ought to be doing, rather than conform to everything that is going on.
He says you're blessed. He says flesh and blood
has not revealed this to you, but my Father.
He will preach the gospel with great power and influence, I say, even to the nations of the earth. And I began to prophesy his destiny. As I did that, the Spirit of the Lord said, now rebuke the spirit of depression.
The mystery of your unfulfilled prophecy is found in what I'm saying today, if you hear what the Spirit is saying, because the King is speaking.
That everything that God has given you will flourish because you have his mind like never before, in Jesus' mighty precious name.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. A retired police officer, Jackson Chama, has written to the Inspector General of Police, Lemi Kajoba, over the alleged unlawful deductions that were made from the payslips of over 1,300 police officers, including him as a retiree for the construction of a police mess. In an interview, Mr. Chama says he, in June 2020, wrote to the police command in Lilai, where he retired, demanding to know why deductions were made from his retirement benefits in April 2020, but has not got a response to date. He states that this is extremely concerning as there is no account for the money, as the construction of the said police mess has not even begun. More in this report.
A retired police officer has called on the Zambia police to look into the trend of alleged payslip deductions that have been going on in the police service since 2005. In an interview, Mr. Jackson Chama says this trend is worrying as it has now extended to retirement benefits. He narrates that deductions were made from over 1,300 police officers, including him as a retiree, for the construction of a police mess. The aggrieved retiree says he has not received any response from police command in Lilai, where he was working, despite having written over a year ago.
In April last year, my money was deducted from my pay that they go and build a police mess. After I had retired from the system, I wrote to the command at paramilitary to make an explanation as to why they can deduct money to over 1,300 police officers, including me as a retiree, so that I have my money repressed. To date, I have not received any response, and the trace of this money, I can't even tell where this money is.
Mr. Chama says what is more worrying is that the police mess has not been constructed to date.
Because the current commanding officer, Mr. Yobe Luhana, when he came to paramilitary, he stopped these deductions. But he has also failed to make an instruction so that this money can be given back to the people. So this money is an account which is not done, which only the senior police officers knows where it is. They have not built the mercy at all. Nothing, not even a foundation, but the money is deducted and is with them. From my salary is 140 kwacha. But I need it. It is my money because it was done unlawfully and without my consent.
A response over the matter could not be derived from the police spokesperson, Mr. Ray Hamonga, as his phone went unanswered by broadcast time. The affected retiree has since written a formal complaint to the Inspector General of Police and awaits response on the same. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says police emergency numbers have now been fully operationalized to ensure that citizens who may be in dire need of help are quickly rescued. In an interview, Mr. Hamonga has, however, cautioned citizens against dialing the numbers indiscriminately, stating that this may sabotage those that may be in real danger due to network traffic. In recent years, citizens were advised to familiarize themselves with phone numbers of police stations nearest to them, as police toll-free lines had been abused.
We have, like for instance, in Lusaka, we have the 991 and the 9010. Now, the challenge that we have with these numbers is the moment we just mention them on air, people start calling them. Can you please stop calling them for the sake of checking if they are working? These numbers are fully functional and they just be used only when you are in distress care or in distress need of care or help. Please do not use these numbers just calling for the sake of saying, I want to check if it's working. You are actually denying an opportunity for someone who's in distress care or in distress need of help from the police. So please do not use these numbers, because these numbers are solely meant for people that may need or immediately need police assistance or response. 991 is for the whole country. Then for Lusaka, we have the one I told about the 9010.
Young Women in Action Executive Director Harriet Chibuta has advised against withdrawing cases of gender-based violence as this perpetuates the culture of violence. In an interview, Ms. Chibuta notes that out of the thousands of cases that are reported each year, only a few reach the prosecution stage, as they are usually withdrawn due to family interference. She has further called on the media to highlight the negative effects that various forms of GBV have on individuals and society during the 16 days of gender activism, which runs from the 25th of November to the 10th of December.
We're going to create a culture in which perpetrators feel as if, it's okay. We can violate women and girls. After this, nothing is going to be done about it. So for as long as we do not prosecute the cases, we ensure that justice prevails, the cases will continue rising. And I think it also calls for inward looking. What is it that we want to see as people prevailing in our communities? What am I doing as Harriet to contribute to the ending of violence against all forms of violence against women and girls? If you know a child, a girl child, or a young woman out there who filed, who took a case to the police and it's not being followed either because of family, the family decides, we'll sort this out away from the police, you see to it that as an individual, you step in and make sure that those cases are actually looked into by the laws. We have very good laws in Zambia that look at gender-based violence.
Movement for Democratic Change, MDC, a member of the UPND Alliance, says the new Dawn government has goodwill towards ensuring the inclusion of persons with disabilities and has not sidelined anyone. Some persons with disabilities have threatened to boycott this year's International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which falls on the 3rd of December, as they feel sidelined by the new Dawn government in terms of giving attention to their plight. But Movement for Democratic Change, MDC Chairperson for Disability, Sarah Brotherton, has called for calm and patience amongst those that may be aggrieved because the new Dawn government has only been in office for 3 months. Ms. Brotherton has assured persons with disabilities that the UPND Alliance-led government has pronounced itself on their inclusion at different fora at the highest level of the President, Hakainde Hichilema, and his ministers. You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
In international news, Ethiopia's Prime Minister has been meeting soldiers fighting Tigrayan rebels in the north. Abiy Ahmed said his forces are making gains. The government declared a state of emergency this month as rebels moved closer to the capital. The US and other countries have told their citizens to leave immediately. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
The front line is not an unfamiliar terrain for Ethiopia's Prime Minister. But this time, Abiy Ahmed, who also holds the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, has returned to the battlefield to rally his troops for what he calls an existential war. Video released by the government shows Abiy with soldiers who are fighting against Tigrayan rebels in the Afar region.
What you see behind me is a mountain area that was a stronghold for the enemy until yesterday. Now we've managed to clear the area fully. The morale of the defence forces is really great. The war is being undertaken with great feat. Now we've taken Kasagita. Today we will take over Shifra and Burqa. We will continue until Ethiopia's freedom is ensured.
Since July, the rebels have been expanding the battle from inside Tigray into neighboring Amhara and Afar regions. They have seized towns that are a few hundred kilometers from the capital Addis Ababa. They say the Prime Minister has lost his chance at peace by choosing war.
The measures taken by Abiy Ahmed are desperate. It would have been better for him to suggest solutions for peace and negotiations, yet he chose war. He should have upheld the opportunity for peace.
Canada has now joined a growing list of countries who are asking their citizens to leave amid fears that the battle could move towards the capital and that the fighting could get a lot worse.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's decision to move to a front line, apparently in the Afar region where fighting is not actually so serious at the moment, is apparently intended to galvanize his support base and mobilize new recruits for the armed forces. And that's not likely to be effective. I think many people may respond to the call, but this war is being fought with heavy weapons and in some cases well-trained, battle-hardened troops. So volunteers at this late stage with little training and few weapons are not going to make a difference.
The civilians are already paying the price of Ethiopia's year-long conflict. More than 9 million people are facing hunger. Hundreds of thousands are on the brink of famine. But so far, both sides have refused to back down, while what the UN calls the textbook definition of a humanitarian crisis continues to unfold.
Frustration at Johannesburg's international airport as dozens of people tried to return to the United Kingdom. It comes hours after it was announced a new variant of COVID-19 had been identified in South Africa. That led to the United Kingdom announcing a new travel ban on people coming from southern African countries, including South Africa, Botswana and Zimbabwe.
It's a big inconvenience. We had our flights booked for a week's time, but we got the news from our daughter in the UK about 12:30, 1 o'clock last night, saying that the UK were going to introduce a red list.
It's unfair, it's unjustified, it's abrupt, and it's not good for tourism for South Africa. Ever since these regulations were passed last night, people are frantically trying to get back into the UK.
South African scientists say they're worried existing vaccines may not be effective and the new variant may spread easily.
The genomic surveillance in South Africa has been outstanding throughout this whole pandemic period, and that's why we've been able to identify when changes occur. The fact that we are able to identify changes quickly is good news. It's good news for the world. But we must be careful that we don't then jump to the conclusion of, well, that equals it came from here, it came from there, and it means it's this or that. We need to understand much more about this.
So far, dozens of infections have been identified in South Africa, while in Botswana, the government says the new virus was found in several foreign nationals on a diplomatic visit. While the South African government says it respects the decision taken by the UK and other countries to limit travel to and from the region, and that precautionary measures may be necessary, it says the decision is rushed.
The action of some of countries in terms of imposing travel bans and such measures are completely against the norms and standards as guided by the World Health Organization.
A possible fourth wave compounded by the new variant may further strain an already overwhelmed health system in South Africa.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Red Arrows striker Grace Dangote Chanda scooped a brace of accolades as FAS hosted their inaugural Women in Football Awards Gala on Friday night. Chanda had a remarkable debut season with Red Arrows that saw her net 35 goals in 26 games, making her the top scorer of the year winner and clinching the Best Player of the Season award ahead of teammate Margaret Belemu and Green Buffaloes defender Lushomo Mwemba. Mwemba was recognized for playing a huge role in Buffalo's meanest defense this season by picking the Best Defender of the Season award, and so did her goalkeeper Aisha Mbwana, who grabbed the Best Goalkeeper of the Year gong. Buffalo's dominance in the debut award ceremony continued with their captain Joanna Benaya voted the Best Midfielder of the Season ahead of Mary Wilombe of Red Arrows and Elizabeth Mopeso of Lusaka Dynamo's Ladies Football Club. Many other sports personalities were awarded, and journalist Wezi Muzunda scooped the Journalist of the Year award, while the Online Media Award went to Moses Mwanza. To end Camnet TV main news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. Mushrooming filling stations in residential areas worry members of the public. Physiotherapists cry for recruitment. The Treasury warns public institutions against undertaking huge projects. In international news, Ethiopian Prime Minister pledges victory in video from Frontline. And in sports news, Red Arrows striker Grace Dangote Chanda bags breasts at awards dinner. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from Numbers 6, verse 24 to 26. May Yahweh bless you and protect you. May Yahweh make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. And may Yahweh look with favor on you and give you peace. Thank you for watching Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.